Hello, I'm Sophie, and this is my drawing process, start to finish, of a rabbit holding a carrot. So, as you can see here, I'm starting with the nose. So, I probably talk in different videos that I don't always draw from the same point. It's more of a distinctive feature that I'll focus on. So, for me, the nose is what I would probably consider a distinctive feature. I think it is dependent on how you draw and what features you find the most interesting to draw. That just seemed to be the area that I was the most interested in drawing. So as you can see, I'm moving on from the nose to the mouth, and I'm gradually trying to figure out where the eyes are going to go. So I'm trying to sort of map those out. So I normally do sort of a light pen sketch, and then I sort of work out where the pupils are, some of the details of the eyes. And I sort of work on one eye first. As you can see, I am shading a lot to try and get the eye to sort of stand out. So I sort of change the intensity of the way I draw and shade as I'm trying to make the eye stand out. So I'm making that sort of darker ways of drawing, I'd suppose. That's probably how I'd explain it. I'm trying to sort of apply more pressure to the pen to make it darker. So normally I'll just hold it a bit lighter and not apply too much pressure. So here I'm applying less pressure, just making it more loose scribble effect. And then I'm sort of trying to map out the rest of the face. So I sort of like to scribble this rather than, say, doing around a circle around the face. And sort of try and map out where the ears are going to go. So I'm scribbling that out. So I normally scribble the outline. And I'm trying to scribble the connecting points between the face and the ears. And I'm shading a lot on this ear. And a lot. I've got to make sure that ear is, really standing out. And now I'm moving on to the other side. So for some bizarre reason, I've worked right to left. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's a left-handed thing. I'm not sure because I'm left-handed. And for some reason, I've not drawn the ear yet. Why have I not drawn the other ear yet? Why does it look like it from this angle? And I'm sort of shading more of the face. So I think maybe sometimes what happens is I'm drawing one point and I think, oh, that bit needs a bit more work. And then that's why sometimes it looks like I'm jumping around to different points of where I'm drawing. So, okay, apparently I thought this next part was important, having the carrot. And sort of roughly sketching out the arms, paws, legs. No, it's legs. Legs with paws. I suppose it's sort of weird because stood up, upright. So technically, in this sense, this is arms. And then scribbling the other arm/leg. And just continue to scribble away. And scribble. Continuous scribbles. And I'm trying to really shade the area around the carrot so it stands out, because I don't want the carrot to be adjoined to the rabbit, so it's like a part of it. It's definitely, we need that distinction between the carrot and the rabbit. And now I'm trying to work on the lower part of the body for the carrot and the rabbit. That was the wrong way around. I meant to say rabbit then carrot. And I'm really trying to shade the areas so that it stands out as much as it can, and just trying to really work out where's the best places to add the shading, because I don't think, in my opinion, in this case of the drawing, that it'd work if there was too much shading. It's almost like you have to be quite strategic where you're shading. So, just continuing that, continuing the shading, continuing. There's a lot of shading. And now I'm shading the sort of carrot effect, because it's almost like a spiral, but also kind of looks like a bunch of stacked donuts sometimes when you look at them, even though it's a carrot, it's healthy. Shouldn't be associated with donuts. And then I'm scribbling a lot more in random areas, really. Like I said, I kind of, every so often, I'll look at different sections and just go, right, that needs a bit more scribbling, that needs to stop there. And I kind of, I'm constantly looking like that when I'm drawing. So at that point, I definitely thought this needed a bit more shaded. And I'm just continuing that. I think it's especially important to have that shading, as I mentioned, around the carrot, because just it's really important that everything doesn't just blend into one thing. And yeah, I'm still going. I didn't realise I was still going at this point. I thought I'd have stopped by now. And I'm really trying to distinguish the paws and the arms. So I think it's really important to have the arms look distinct as well. And scribbling away at the sort of grassy, leafy part of the carrot. And sort of adding some shading to sort of the outlines so it stands out a bit more from the background of the paper, so that the rabbit sort of stands out a bit more. And I think it's quite tricky sometimes, because you kind of got to make sure you don't overline it, unless that's the effect you want to go for. In this case, I didn't want to go for that effect, because I wanted it to be an outline that's kind of there, but it's not too strong. And I'm just randomly scribbling to define the paw, because it kind of just looked like one just long arm, and it kind of needs to have a defined paw. And also shading a lot around general areas, really. So I'm trying to make sure that it looks a little bit more three-dimensional. I don't ever like mine to be too realistic, but I don't like it to be too cartoony or illustrative. So I always try to have sort of a mixture. That's just the effect I like to have. And shade. Sometimes I like to shade behind the figure. Sometimes this makes them stand out. So this is something I'm trialing, but I'm not sure this necessarily works in this case, but this is something I'm just trialing out. And I think where I could have improved this, maybe, if it's weird I'm saying improvement whilst I'm saying this, but I think maybe I shouldn't have had so much shading behind the rabbit. It's maybe a little bit too much. Maybe it needs a little bit toning down and a bit more subtle. Maybe not any shading, or a lighter shading, so maybe apply less pressure. That's just maybe what versus my head versus what